It's been a while since first talking about OCD. If you're looking for an introduction to Obsessive Compulsive Disorder, check out OCD 101 in the card. It's time to expand on that. OCD has what are called themes. You can think of these like subcategories of what obsessions are focused on. When looking into OCD, you might see articles about the 5 categories of OCD obsessions, or 7 themes of OCD. While a lot of obsessions can be put into a handful of categories, I think it's kind of silly to try to insist that there are a concrete number of themes that all obsessions conform to. I want to note that obsessions are ego-dystonic and go against what one's core beliefs are. So when talking about these obsessions, they aren't necessarily something that somebody would actually believe. It's actually completely the opposite. Some themes are commonly known, even for those without OCD. Contamination is a really common theme, so much that it's usually part of a stereotypical view of OCD. From my own experience, and from what I've heard, this is a theme with a lot of physical compulsions, like washing hands over and over again. A good example can be seen in Rosalie from Taken Over the Asylum.
They all look pretty normal.
What do you expect them to look like? The beast of Borneo.
Again, video in the card. While going over the commonly stereotyped OCD subtypes, let's talk about symmetry and ordering. A stereotypical view of symmetry and ordering, at least from my perspective, is those OCD test videos or memes about correcting unevenness or being particular about order and cleanliness of a space. Along those same lines, it could be argued that just right OCD is also targeted in those stereotyped memes and videos. It's basically exactly what it sounds like. Repetition of an action until it feels like it's right, or it sits right. Have you ever been bothered by those nagging feelings that you didn't lock the front door when you left the house? Dial that anxiety up to 11, and instead of that quick doorknob jiggle that most people would do to check, try doing that tens of times instead, over and over again. That is a checking obsession. Next is something I don't have a lot of experience with, thankfully. Hit and run OCD. I feel like there's a bit of overlap with checking here, but focused on something specific. The fear of causing an accident or a hit and run. People often report going back to a particular spot multiple times to make sure that this didn't happen. I've heard this usually happens with people driving automobiles or cars. However, I could unfortunately totally imagine this happening with smaller methods of transportation, like scooters or skateboards, but I've not heard anybody talk about this. Next is what is called harm OCD. It's something that can be really, really scary to talk about. The fear of harming someone you love. Usually this leads to a fear and avoidance of dangerous items, such as knives. Religious or scrupulosity OCD is something that I feel is less talked about. It's focused around a fear of sinning and displeasing God in some way. Often the compulsion is focused on praying, confessional, or some other kind of penance. Sexual orientation OCD, also known as homosexual OCD or just orientation OCD, it's focused on obsessions around one's sexual orientation. So if you're straight with sexual orientation OCD, you might be obsessed about the fact that you might actually secretly be gay, or that you might actually be straight if you are gay. From what I've heard, this is met with a lot of reassurance seeking from your partner and or ruminating on one's past attractions or possible crushes in the past. You could also lump this in with relationship OCD, which is a more general category of obsessions about one's ongoing or past relationship with similar reported compulsions. Another subcategory of OCD that I feel would be really difficult to talk about is known as pedophilia OCD, or POCD. This is the obsession that one is or could be a pedophile. Again, followed by a lot of ruminating and checking one's reactions to events. Real event OCD is characterized by ruminating excessively about memories or how one recalls a real event. From what I've heard, it's usually met with a lot of reassurance seeking and some sort of confirmation regarding the event that OCD is twisting into something worse than what actually happened. The next OCD theme on the list is magical thinking OCD. I'm not sure if this is a subtype of OCD so much as an average thought distortion, but I've seen some people talk about it as a category of OCD. Magical thinking is when you're convinced that your obsessions influence the outside world, and that your compulsion will stop that influence. For example, you might be convinced that by thinking about it, the plane will crash, and that if you complete a compulsion, that will stop you from magically crashing the plane with your thoughts. Now I think I've come to the last couple of themes or subtypes that I'm going to be talking about in this video, and I'm just going to touch on them really quickly. Pure obsessional OCD, also called pure O, is characterized by purely mental compulsions, not physical ones. I'll talk about this a bit more in a future video because I feel like it really deserves its own video. It's a bit of a complex subject. Hoarding disorder has been viewed for a very long time as a subtype of OCD. In the DSM-5, hoarding disorder is, while viewed as a related disorder, a sort of separate heading in the DSM-5, not being explained by a diagnosis of obsessive compulsive disorder. It is a bit different. I can see why this was thought of as OCD, however, because with hoarding disorder, you hold on to items, hold on to them tight because you believe that they will be used at a further date and that you need to keep them because if you go without them, something bad will happen. I totally get that. That sounds like OCD, but it is a little bit different and is thus a separate heading in the DSM. This has been a quick guide to subtypes of obsessive compulsive disorder. OCD 102. If you have any other subjects about mental health or LGBTQIA+ topics you'd like to see covered, please let me know down in the comments below. As always, my resources are listed in the description down below. Thanks for watching the OCD Enby. Stay safe out there.